back because she got
What?
on and started talking. And I said, you know what? I need to practice more because I don't think I sound like her.
Hmm.
People like to talk
Well,
about South Carolina, but that Kentucky accent, baby,
hmm.
listen.
It,
Woo,
if you don't know country,
it's a doozy.
mhm,
Like some of the words she said, I was confused. I was
for
like,
real,
huh?
for real.
Are we from the same South? I just curious.
Well, the show will start very, very soon.
Bum,
Very,
bum,
very soon. Let the
bum.
people know the show will start in a few.
Yeah, we're gonna get this show on the road soon ish. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want my accent to get stuck.
You think it'll get stuck?
Sometimes it's hard to come out of. Like once I start talking in an accent, like it's really hard. It was it was one time when I was working at the governor's school.
Oh, wow.
I talked in a British accent for 2 days.
Oh, my goodness.
I couldn't snap out of it.
We'll snap on out of it because we get ready to get the show started. Are you ready?
Woo! I'm ready. And you know what
Are
we
you
should start
ready?
with?
What?
Our intro.
You think we should?
I think so. Because I remembered today. I remembered
You,
today.
let me tell you
See?
something. Every time we do this thing, it's like we do the show and we don't ever start with our intro. Why would you want to start with the
Right.
intro today?
Right. We play the intro and then we play the outro. And then it's like, okay, bye, y'all.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey,
Hey,
everybody, it's
y'all.
MsTonya.
And it's KJ here.
Yeah, we are the Brown South Girls. It is the last Sunday again.
It is. I feel like this last Sunday came by really fast. Really fast.
But you said that the last time.
I know, but April in itself just felt like it was moving so slowly. Like I just knew that somebody threw an extra week in the month, and I was like, we can't still be in April. But then
Yes.
next thing you know, here we are, the last Sunday.
We right here. We right here. I tell you what, and this week we are talking about, this ain't what we talking about. This the wrong slide.
But we can talk for a minute.
Here you go. Let the
Yeah.
people know.
We're going to talk about making a life, making a living, more than your career.
Making
I like
a
it.
life. I like that too. I mean, because there's a lot in there.
It is.
There's a lot
it really
in there.
is.
And I think like this is a good conversation, particularly for, cross generations, because I feel like young people, I'm watching some of the things that, even though I'm a little bit older, I'm watching some of the things that young women in your generation are talking about.
Yeah.
I watch some of the things.
Yeah.
And we have our conversations as well. It's just that this particular conversation that we have on the last Sundays, we just kind of do it out here for all of the
Right.
people.
We share it with the people. And honestly, I feel like our last Sunday conversations are miniature versions of our actual conversations because we can talk a movie, y'all. We can talk a whole movie's worth of
A whole
conversation.
movie. And a lot of times we do.
Right. We said we was going to start recording it. That's how we got to the podcast. We probably should start writing these down so we can get to the big screen.
You know what?
I
That might
think
be
so.
a good idea. That might be a
Might
good
be.
idea. We got some people in the house already with us. So they already here.
Yes. We got Keep the Faith with Tori. What's up, Queens? Hey, Tori. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. She said she's checking in from where?
Darlington. Wait, hold on.
Darlington.
Darlington. When I was in high school, they used to call it Dollar Town. And that's what I was going to say, but my brain got a little ahead of itself. From Darlington.
You just kind of merged those.
Right.
That's what it sounded like to me.
I got
All right?
excited. And then we have Common Ground here saying, yes, love it. Thank you.
What's up? That's Kevin Mullins in the building, in the house with the ladies here, with the Brown South Girls. Good to have a guy in here. Yeah. Because we love the men.
We do. We love everybody.
We do. But let's get a little bit into the conversation and let us talk about making a life and a living. Making a life and making a living. Because there's much that we could talk about there. I feel like this. So many women are concentrating on their careers and they're not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
And you can't expect to be fulfilled just with one portion of your life. And if that's just your work life, naturally there's not going to be a balance there. So,
Yeah.
I'm all for, getting educated. What do
Hmm.
y'all say? I'm all for getting a bag, you
You
know.
know.
But you've gotta have some good circles around you. You gotta
Mhm.
create that life that you want. You gotta create that comfortable ability for
Hmm.
yourself.
You do. You really do. And it's interesting that you say that because I'm currently watching a show right now, and one of the main characters just so happens to be a managing partner at a law firm. And so they were in this big lawsuit. Yeah, anyway, they were in a big lawsuit. And one of the gentlemen who was suing them was basically just getting on her about the fact that she wasn't married and she focused so much on her career and now she's bitter. And I was like, whoa. Like, I get that this is a scripted series, this is TV. But
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like you only know her at work.
Right.
Like, how do you know that she's not fulfilled in other aspects in her life while also being a boss? Like, it's possible to do both.
Right.
It really is. And I feel like it's more healthy to have that work life balance than to just be so career focused or just so personal life focused. Like, you really do have to find a balance so you don't go stir crazy.
You do. And if you talk to people, like I said, and if you talk to women who are in a different generation from you, which I feel
Hmm.
like most people should, I feel like young women should always have some older women that they can have conversations with, that they can learn certain things from.
Yeah.
And I also believe the reverse. Because if you talk to women who were from that day of becoming a wife and
Hmm.
being a stay at home mother and a homemaker, which is very much a career. So we're not
Yeah.
saying that that is not, something that is not work,
Right.
but
Because it
still
is.
just just doing that alone and
Hmm.
not, developing other things outside of the home, since that is where she spends most of her time,
Right.
she wasn't fulfilled either. You can't think that you're going to find that one person and center your whole life around them. You
Right.
center your life around finding that mate, and you get
Hmm.
married, and whatever it is that in your mind that you feel like you have to fulfill. You don't
Right.
have to do that. You don't. And
Exactly.
I mean, today, what do you feel a lot of young women within your age bracket, what do you think they're feeling about marriage, career, children? Because as I look at things, and if we look at things statistically,
Hmm.
like the birth rate has really gone down a lot. Women are not
Yep.
having as many kids as they used to.
Because it's not easy. I mean, well, I'm on the outside looking in,
Hmm.
but it's not easy. It's hard enough taking care of yourself in today's society. And now you mean I got to keep other humans alive and make sure that they learn and that they grow and that they're safe. And then all the anxiety that comes with letting them out into the real world, because the safest place that you feel like they're going to be is at home. Because let's be honest, the world is a little crazy once you step outside. That's just a lot of stress. And I feel like
Hmm.
you have to really have, like we're saying, a good circle around you, a good village, a good network, a good solid group of people around you, whether that includes a partner or not, because some people that just doesn't work out for them and that's okay.
Right.
But to bring a child into this today's world, you have to have you got to have that core people around you
You
because
you
it's not
do.
easy.
When it's said that it takes a village, it absolutely does. I would not
Hmm.
have been able to. And let me say this too. Not only for a single mother, I don't mean as a single mother. It
Right.
takes a village with a committed relationship. If you're married, you still need to have those people around you.
Yeah,
You've got to have that.
you
Because
really
a lot
do.
of the times, a lot of families, both parents are working. You've got
Hmm.
two people in the home who are going outside of the home to work. So you've got to have that village around you. Who's around you? Hopefully, and it's not all the time. Hopefully, you've got like maybe some grandparents,
Hmm.
some type of family members around you that might be able to help. That's
Right.
always a good thing. but it's not guaranteed because you could live in another state, another city,
Mhm.
so that doesn't have to be the thing. I took a note down
Mhm.
here, so I'm reading. Let me pull it up in my phone because there was something I wanted to say. Okay, you said something that made me think about it because you were talking
Mhm.
about the kids, and the note that I jotted down here says that more than thinking about whether you want to have children, you need to think about the world that these children are going to be living in.
Yeah.
And I think if you think about that realistically, look at everything around you, look at, whether or not your village is around you in this
Mhm.
particular time. You really need to think about all of these things.
You really do.
You must. Is this the right timing for me?
Mhm.
And timing is important. Like I said,
Yeah.
you got to look who's going to help here with this, because if I have
Mhm.
the career, if I've been out here on my own, like, how am I going to make this all work? How is the life that I'm living and the life that I perceive that I could live with the child, like, what am I bringing this kid into? I think
Right.
it's a fair thing they ask.
I think it's fair as well. I mean, I think about people who have young kids now and little kids now, and I'm just like, I cannot imagine what you are feeling knowing that this is the world that your kids are going out into every day, and like
Mhm.
just the things that I feel like we do take a little bit for granted. Like, okay, I go to work, I come home. Like, we don't realize, like, okay, I left the house, I went and did what I needed to do, I made it home safely. Like, and
Mhm.
as an adult, I feel like you are slightly more in control of that. But kids, they ride the bus, you might drop them off, they may walk to school. Like, there are so many outside factors. And just to be able to drop your kid off at school and not know if they're going to make it home, like that in itself would make me say, nope, it's just going to be me and my plants, because that's not something or I'm going to be sitting outside the school peeking through the window and then they're going to call the police on me when really I'm just trying to make sure that the kids are safe. So
Oh my
it really
goodness.
is. And that's just a small part. Like, there are just so many other things in the
Yeah,
world, but
I
ooh,
agree.
it's
I agree.
tough.
I agree. We've got Tori here. Keep the faith with Tori. She says, I think about that part all the time. The world that the children will be living in.
Mhm.
Somebody's got to think about that.
Right.
Somebody's got to think about it. And as a woman, you have to think about a lot of things. So in
Mhm.
knowing that that is something that you need to consider, you got to live your life accordingly. And so
Yes.
that goes to your dating habits, that
Mhm.
goes to your birth control habits. All of
Yeah,
those things are going to be very key, you
they
know?
are. They really are. Especially since day by day, as women, we lose more control over our bodies. Literally, day by day, we lose more control over our bodies. So you really have to be super strategic
You do.
these days, because you don't have that many choices.
You don't have it. You're right. You're right. You don't have a whole lot of choices.
Yeah.
In my generation, we could think, okay, well, we had more options.
Hmm.
Uh, like I said, your birth control rights are going to be an option. They've already, when we're talking about abortion and then policing our bodies, they're already doing away with that. They're already thinking about different things they want to do with Plan B. So
Right.
it's almost like you almost have to. I don't even know what you all would do in this generations, to be honest, but you cannot not think about this.
Yeah, you really
This
can.
is very serious. I don't know how are some of you all in here who were in the comments. How do you feel about this? Because we had options,
Hmm.
and the options are very, very slim right now. It also, I feel like, with the options that you all have, it also plays a role into how you will date. It
Hmm.
almost seems like you can't even afford to casually date, certainly not casual sex. But it
Right.
almost puts you in the mind space of, like, you know what, I don't even want to waste my time. I don't want any
I'm
slip
good.
up. I don't want anything to happen. I'm good. I'm
Right.
not in the mind space. So if I don't want any of these things to happen, it's going to be best that I don't even get involved in a relationship.
Yep.
And that's not a good thing, because
It's not.
life is about relationships, right?
Right. It is. And it's almost as if they say, oh, y'all don't want to have any more kids? Don't worry about it. will make it happen. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
we're gonna make you. You're right. It's like we're gonna make sure. Okay, the population is going down. We're gonna make sure that
we're gonna
that
build it
doesn't
back
happen.
up.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay. So these are kind of decisions y'all can make. But we
Hmm,
have Miko Pickett here, and I really hope I pronounced that correctly.
you
Says
did.
that is so sad that young sis has to say that. Unbelievable. We've elected men who literally have gained control over female bodies. I'm just sick. Me too. Me too. It makes no sense. And the fact that it's men making these decisions as if they understand what the female body goes through to produce and create and deliver and
Right.
raise a child.
And
But
old
I
men,
digress. Right.
old men,
Y'all got one foot in the grave and worried about if we having kids or not.
crazy.
But that's another conversation for another last Sunday.
It really is. But like I said, it really makes you have to strategically. I'm messing up my word here.
It's fine.
Strategically
Mm-hmm.
think about how you are going to navigate this dating world. And I don't want to think that we took it for granted, but we certainly had a whole lot more freedoms. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I don't like it, not one bit.
We're just at the point you gotta take it day by day. Day
Hmm.
by day.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
We got some snaps from Miko. Thank you, thank you.
I don't know, girl. Like, and like I said, and that goes into, because if you think about this too, because not only abortion is not, and certain birth control is not just for single women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
I really don't know the statistic,
Me
but
either.
I imagine that there are just as many and probably more women who are in marriages and committed relationships who have also used that option, because
Right.
you have to think about, is this right for me? Is this the right timing for me? Can I do this? You
Right.
know, you think about other situations that might make a woman choose that option,
Mm-hmm.
because several things happen to women. They're in abusive relationships, abusive things
Mm-hmm.
may happen with them, and
Right.
it's a pregnancy that just was not, definitely not planned.
Right.
So what does she do?
Right. And we don't think about the mental states that some of these women may be in when they become pregnant. Like, am I do I have the mental capacity to raise another human right now?
Hmm.
Like, is that something that I can mentally do without losing myself or losing this child? Like, can I
Hmm.
do, which is something also very important, I think.
Right.
Mhm.
Can I
Oh,
afford it?
right. Can I afford it? What type of lifestyle am I bringing this child into? Am I bringing them into a lifestyle where they're going to have to grow up struggling?
Right.
Right. There's so many factors. So
There's
many
a lot.
factors.
A
Yes. We
lot.
actually got another comment from Miko, which is another factor. The fetus is not viable. That also happens. But these old men want us to just say, hey, figure it out. Figure it out
It's all about
in nine
population
months.
control.
Right.
This is really about population control. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they say that, there's this thing where single mothers seem to have ruined a lot of things for society, and I certainly don't agree with that, because women have been raising, children since forever.
Well
you
beyond
know
our time.
right,
Right.
since forever. And I don't know too many people who, I mean, some women may have chose that option, but
Mm-hmm.
some, of course, there are women who did not make that decision.
Right.
Ideally, you would like to have a partner, not just to have a husband, not just to have a father in the home, to
Right.
have a father in the home. Because what if he's knocking your head up against the refrigerator? What if he's
Exactly.
not providing necessarily?
Exactly.
You in a marriage, but you still a single mother because you handling everything. So I feel like, just to say that you are married, or to say that a father is in a home, that's not necessarily a family. we
Right.
want we want to have a good family. You want
Mm-hmm.
to have a good relationship, and if that thing is not there, then sometimes the best option is for you to do it yourself. and
Yeah.
and and we've had these conversations, and I hope it seems to be dying down a little bit, where we had a whole lot of this men versus women, and they want to tell
What a
women,
time.
yeah, they want to tell women, well, you're choosing the wrong men, and this, that, and the other. and
Mm-hmm.
and guess what? I feel like it's come to a point where I think a lot of women, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of women are taking the advice of these men when they're saying stop choosing the wrong men and just not choosing none of them.
Look, you said stop choosing the wrong one. All of y'all are wrong.
You know what? We're gonna take a
You know
break.
what? It's fine. And part of me, I can actually see that because even though we are here on a podcast, a lot of
Hmm.
these conversations have happened on podcasts. And there was at one point women rallying to take microphones away from men. Now, I feel like there are some good men out there with a lot of good things to say. I really do. And I
Absolutely.
do listen to some podcasts that are male centered, but it's
Hmm.
good to hear their perspective on a lot of different topics. So I don't think we should take the microphones from all of them. Some of
I
them,
don't.
yes. But I'm glad that men and women thing has gone away, but I really do think like a lot of women are like, okay, well, if we keep choosing the wrong man all the time, and
Hmm.
then the men are telling us that we're choosing the wrong man, maybe we do need to take a break. Maybe we
Maybe
need to
we
let the
do.
man choose us this time. Like, well,
It-
maybe we should
I don't
switch some
know.
things up, do something different.
See, you're saying something like you just said, like maybe have the men choose us. And from my generation and above, I know it as women have been letting men choose them. So I was thinking the opposite of what you just said. I was thinking like maybe women need to be the ones who are making the decisions. You decide who it is that you may be interested in. So I don't know. Is that really going on within your generation?
I think it's happening. I won't say that's 100%, but I definitely feel like it happens more often than not. Like, I think men and women kind of equally go after each other in my generation, just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna
Hmm.
shoot my shot, as the young
Okay.
people, as the young people say.
If you don't
But
be quiet with your young self.
I think it's just like clearly we're not being the best judges of character, or y'all are just not showing us the parts of your character that we should be judging. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is, but it's
I
like we
don't
just
know.
gonna take a break. We're just gonna
That's
take a
that.
break.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, what Tori say?
Just don't choose none of them. None.
None of them.
None.
We don't want
Maybe
to deal
they
with none of it.
right. We got Tanya Joseph here saying, "Hey, ladies,
Hey,
hey."
Tanya, how you doing? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a whole thing. But like I
it
said, that all
is.
comes with, population control. They're realizing that the population is dwindling. So these men have they're putting some laws in place that they feel like they can force, families.
Mm-hmm.
Force families, and there are a whole lot of laws. There's another topic that we could get into, but it's a little bit too political. But I'll just leave it at that, and I'll say they feel
Mm-hmm.
like they can force families, force women to have children, but that's not going to work.
It's
It's
not.
not going to work. I
It's
feel
not.
like just like we're saying, it's going to force women to look at like, well, you know what? I'm just not going to deal with y'all, and I feel
Right.
like you're going to have generations of men and who are going to be lonely.
Yeah.
They're going to be lonely because they don't build like friendships and bonds a lot like how women do. Like we build friend
Right.
groups and we have, a team of almost like family and
Mm-hmm.
support around us. We build that in friendships.
Yes.
I don't see men doing that a lot. Now I could be wrong because I'm not a man and I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't seem to express that a lot. So I
Yeah.
see it as they're going to create a generation of a lot of lonely men. They're going to be men in their 30s and 40s and their 50s maybe, and they're going to be single.
Meanwhile, me and the ladies gonna be at us a little day party, a nice little brunch, having a good old having a good old time.
Yeah, living our lives
Right,
because
living our lives.
if you don't want to have kids, you don't have to. Having kids does not make you a woman.
And it's good that you say that because I've recently been seeing this trend as well where a lot of women are like, oh, I'm 30 and unmarried with no children, and like making it like a sob story.
Hmm.
And me, as a woman who is excited to be 30,
Hmm.
like if y'all don't be happy that you made it to 30 years of life on this planet,
Right.
maybe it was your goal to be married, to have children. I get it. But
Hmm.
we all have goals and they don't always happen on our own timeline. Because let younger me tell it, I would have been an Olympian and a millionaire by the time I was 25. And
Right.
let's just say our goals have changed. Our goals have changed, but that doesn't make me feel like I have failed in life. I
Right.
feel like, it was just meant for other things to be for me. And I like thinking back on what my goals were as a kid or as a young teen and what my life actually played out to be. I'm very grateful that my goals have changed because I feel like I've been able to be more impactful in the spaces that I occupy the way my life has gone. Like I've been able to share so much and to reach so much and to really influence and inspire people in a way that I'm not sure it would have been the same or as fulfilling had I been a 25-year-old Olympic millionaire, which now that I know better, I wasn't going to make millions being an Olympian because
Uh,
I ran track. I wasn't going to make no money.
you
So
know,
let's be realistic.
you could do something else. You
Right.
have to parlay that into something else for sure.
Now,
That's for sure.
now
I
y'all
got
go
you.
see me on the Olympic stage. I will coach an Olympian. It just wasn't meant for
Okay.
me to be one, and that's fine.
All right. How you doing, Josh? Peace and love to you also, sir. I see we got Amari in the house with it. What is Amari up to out here?
Yes, he says good compatible people ain't finding each other. And the good guys I know are all in relationships. So I couldn't hook any friends up. And
Oh, wow.
I feel like that's a good point too. It's like you'll know some good people because I feel like as women, we all know some good guys and we all know some good women. But it's
Right.
like when we do have those single friends, it's like, well, I don't know no single men. All the good ones that I know are already in a relationship.
Right.
And all them other ones, I keep them at arm's length, so I'm not gonna hook you up with them.
I'm
So
not.
right. So I feel
Save
like that happens a lot.
right. Save yourself. I'm
Yeah.
gonna help you save yourself, girl.
Right.
You don't want to get involved.
Like, no, don't do it, girl. Don't do it.
Jeez. But that's something to think about. I just feel like I said, I feel like there's going to be a generation of some very lonely men
Mhm.
because women are just going to stop fooling with them because if you take away that like the birth control options and women really have to be a lot more choosy than they already are.
Yep.
Listen.
Y'all thought it was hard out here for a pimp before. Because the
Hmm.
thing is, we have to think about like what health risk would I be putting myself at if I don't think this way.
Right. Right.
Not trying to.
And
I'm trying to.
we've seen a lot of that. We're seeing some of those things happen. They're making people liable if they help a woman cross to go to another state or
Right.
somewhere to get the services that she might need. I mean, they're really taking this very far. And I
They
got to be
are.
honest. When we were starting this conversation, I had no idea that we would be going here, but
Mhm.
it's definitely something that we should think about. This is
Yeah.
very, very serious. You
Mhm.
know.
It is.
So
And oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say. So when you're talking about making a life and making a living, those are definitely things that you have to think about. You have to think about whether or not you want to have a family. You have to think about whether or not you want to be married. Do you want a house with the picket fence and all of that stuff? Because what about if that's not what you want? What
Right.
about if you don't want to live in a house? What if you like living in a city? What if you want a condominium? You want to live, in an apartment or what? What is that about? What are
Right.
young women in your generation thinking about those type of goals?
I think they're changing and they're very much on a person to person basis, of course.
Hmm.
But I definitely see and just feel like a lot more women, especially if they are single women, yes, I'm going to live in an apartment because if something breaks, I'm calling maintenance. Like, I don't want to have to worry about finding somebody to cut my grass, to fix the pipes, to change out whatever. I want to call somebody and get it done. And I already know who to call maintenance. uh, because it's like, especially for me, I can speak for myself. Like, as a single woman, I don't need a whole lot of house. I
Hmm.
don't need because I'm not cutting the grass. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. I don't need a whole lot of yard. Again, if something break, what if my water heater go out? What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna have to call my mama and then have her tell me what to do. So I think it's just like our age. I think too is just more so about the convenience of your lifestyle. Like, what can I maintain in my lifestyle, and how can I make my lifestyle convenient for me and where I am right now?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I see nice houses all the time driving up and through the city.
Hmm.
I'm not about to go buy. Have you seen the prices of some of these houses? Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna sit right here and pay my rent. Thank you
Yeah,
very
but okay,
much.
okay, you're saying that, but I mean, if we get into the math of it,
Hmm.
really, a lot of the times, and most of the time, a mortgage is very comparable to
Yeah.
rent depending upon this person's lifestyle and where they live.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a mortgage would be less. I feel like it's more about, is that really what you want?
Right. Right. Which, if it's what you want, hats off to you. That's fantastic. But me,
Hmm.
myself, it's
Yeah.
not for me, or at least not right now. Because what am I gonna do? What if I decide that I want to move somewhere else? What am I gonna do with my house? Because I'm not gonna want to leave. I know me. I'm not gonna want to leave my house. I'm gonna want to pick it up, hook it up to the back of a truck, and take it with me wherever I'm going. I know, like, of course, you can rent it out, you can sell, you can Airbnb, but like, it's mine. Like, I wanna keep it now that I'm paying for it. I bought it.
You make it sound like you need either a tiny house or an RV.
That's what I'm gonna need. Because I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm gonna be somewhere. We got Miko here saying, very serious. I 100% agree. The worst thing is that it is 100% political. We must vote our way out of this.
You're right.
Couldn't have said
We
it better
got to.
myself.
We
Couldn't have
got
said it better
to.
myself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Also, with the house situation, in terms
Mhm.
of, you think about a person who, like, if you decide, hey, I'm not having any kids, I'm unmarried, I could see not wanting a house. I could see that. But in that same respect, do single women consider what their legacy might be, or do they feel a responsibility of leaving a legacy of sorts? Because I know that obviously parents think that, they
Mhm.
think about, well, or shall I say, responsible parents. They think about, I have something here. I want to make sure that, I have something for my kids to move forward. Like, if
Mhm.
I've gone so far, and I just feel like generation after generation, we all shouldn't have to just start over. I feel like
Right.
it's a part of my responsibility to make sure that you are set up in some way. I also feel like, as a parent, if there isn't something that you could leave to these young people, and not only just leave, but while you're here, provide things to and for them, and set things up for them in a lot of ways, I feel like you fail as a parent. Like, to feel like, okay, well, I got it out the dirt, you gotta get it out the dirt too. I'm like, what is that like? Why do we have to keep starting over? Why can't
Right.
you have some responsibility to someone else other than yourself? And
Mhm.
so I say that to say, what does that look like for young single people? Is that something you're thinking about, or that's more of a future thought?
I feel like it is more of a future thought, but also when it comes to, like, because when I think about it, like, and I also feel like men and women have different meanings behind leaving a legacy, because I feel like most men just want their name to be carried on. Not all of them, but I feel like that is a big portion of it. Like, oh, I have, especially why men want sons, because they want that legacy to continue. They want to keep carrying on the name. But I feel like, as a young single woman, for me, I don't really think about leaving a legacy behind, but more so I just think about, what can I do to leave something to someone in this current moment, or in, this week, this month, whatever. In the interactions that I have with people, if I can leave something with you, and it might not resonate with you today, tomorrow,
Hmm.
next year, 20 years from now, but if I can just leave something with people in meeting them, and just conversation and just their interactions with me, I feel like I've left a legacy, because when I'm gone, there'll be somebody here that'll remember. Well, KJ said on that last Sunday in April of 2024, and it's like, okay, hey, I left something, even if it's just something to help somebody think differently, or help them grow, or help
Right.
them figure out an idea that then leads them to success.
Hmm.
Because I didn't have
Yeah.
to get it out the mud. I don't feel like you have to either.
Right. I
So
agree
it's
with you.
like, let's there are different ways, I think, to leave things behind, rather than just like to your own specific children.
Absolutely, because now, being a parent of adult children at this point in my life, I feel like leaving an impact with other young people in the community. I find that to be important. So
Yeah.
I would think that, as a single person, or a person who chose not to have children, or choose that, yeah, there's something that you have to find outside of
Yeah.
yourself to do, and to have a responsibility to,
Mm-hmm.
within your community, within your circle, something. There has to be something or someone that you can make an impact on. And I don't
Yes.
want to throw anything out there. People will find their thing. Everybody has something that they can do. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
find that.
Yep. We got Amari Fox here saying the land legacy is important. Rockefellers get multi-million dollar life insurance, borrow money from the estate, and pay back debts at death, rinse and repeat. Yeah,
You're right.
you're right
You're
about it.
absolutely right.
You're right
Because
about it.
when I see families who don't take advantage of that, I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand it. Those who may have inherited grandma or grandpa house and you lose it, or you don't
Right.
keep it up and it ends up you still end up losing it because now it's worth nothing because you're not doing
Right.
anything. I don't understand how you don't understand the value of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something. So home ownership is important, but
Yes.
is it necessary? I'm not so sure. I don't think it's just like kids are not for everyone. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think home ownership is either.
Right, I agree. And Keep the Faith with Tori says, KJ, I'm with you on that. But child, my neighbors have been a little loud lately. I just want the peace and quiet of a house. That I do understand. And thankfully, I don't have loud neighbors. I mean, I definitely think one of my neighbors has a dog with separation anxiety because it'll like whine sometimes during the day. And I'm like, oh,
Mm.
he's lonely. But I have lived places where I really just, my last apartment, the way they used to argue so bad, I would start
Ooh,
blasting breakup songs, hoping they would hear it and get the picture. Because it's like if I can hear y'all arguing, then y'all can hear my music. So break up. You don't need to be
exactly.
together. Just stop. So I get it, Tori. Being in a house definitely comes with just a sense of peace because
Maybe because you could
sometimes
still have some messed up neighbors.
you can. Because I definitely was peeping out the window one time, listening to these people argue out their house. She had that man outside in the cold, but that's another story for another day. And I was like, "Ooh, child, y'all got apartment drama in this nice neighborhood."
In the suburbs.
Right. I said, had him out there in the cold. Hmm, I was sad for him, but I think he got back in. But Miko says, yep, MsTonya the poet, my husband forced me to buy our first house. I was 28. 10 years later, we sold that house and walked away with 80K in a horrible market. You can't go wrong with real estate. Plus, you need to live.
Yeah,
You
absolutely,
do. You really
absolutely.
do.
I
You
think
really do.
Tori laughing at your
My
neighbor's
neighbor's
story.
story. Hey, Tori, listen, I got some neighbor stories for you.
Mm, mm, mm,
I
mm.
got some neighbor stories for you.
It is. I feel this. Somewhere within the family lineage, there
Hmm.
has to be home ownership.
Yes,
Somewhere.
I agree.
Somewhere. There has to be. And so when you know that is there, whatever
Mhm.
you're doing with your particular life at a particular stage in time, I feel like you live that accordingly. But I also feel like families need to have conversations. There need to be discussions about who's taking this deed next. Who does
Mhm.
it go to next? You look at the
Right.
responsibilities of everybody who had it before you and
Mhm.
look at what they're doing with it. Understand the value, understand the upkeep, understand what you have, understand
Mhm.
what can be done with it. Those are
Right.
conversations because I know that we as a family do that.
Mhm.
And I certainly want, any family who might be listening to us who are just not aware, these are how people are able to live
Yes.
even in hard times, because when you own your stuff,
It's yours.
right, when you own your stuff, you got to look at, like, you've got a budget that you can really maintain,
Mhm.
you
And
know?
I think those are conversations that should be had sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
And part of me feels like they don't happen sooner because, when you think about, okay, well, we're having this conversation about who's getting a house next, you automatically assume somebody's about to die. And I get it, but that's
Mhm.
also a part of the circle of life. Like, we're all not going to be here forever. But I think it's better to be prepared, to have those
Right.
conversations, to know what your responsibilities are going to be before you are in the moment where someone has passed away and now you're trying to grieve and also process like, okay, well, now what do I do with all of this stuff? Like, who gets what? Like, that's a lot to put on people when they're going through a time of grief. So
It
just
is.
being open and comfortable having those conversations sooner, and knowing that it's just a conversation out of preparation. you
Hmm.
know we talk
Yeah,
about everything else, so let's have those conversations so that people are aware and prepared, and it gives them a little less stress when it is time to grieve.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yep, we got Amari here, says get wills young. Nope. No probate. It's a nightmare. Have those hard conversations early. Exactly.
Well, I got some things I can say about that.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna leave my bicycle to my brother. That's what's in my will as of right now.
It,
So,
it 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 would be nice. It is
mhm,
unfortunate that sometimes there are some people and some family members who do some things that fall outside of even what you have planned. You would
right.
imagine that that would work, but there are people who do some things,
So if you
and we
gonna get a
know
will, oh,
you
go
need to
ahead.
make sure more than one person is aware of it. It
That's what I was
needs
gonna say.
that's the biggest thing. You can have a will, but you need to make sure that more than one person has it. It does
Mhm.
not just need to be in a safe deposit box or in your safe at home or wherever all of your paperwork is in a secure
Right.
place. More than one person should have it. I am going to say you should have at least 3 people who
Get
is
you some
aware of
flash
it.
drives and put it on those flash drives. And
You
the
you
person
need
you think you
hard.
trust the most, yeah, they can have it. Who do you trust the second most? Give it to them too.
Give
Who do
it
you
to the
trust?
person, give it
Honestly,
to
who
more,
do you trust the
it's
least?
the
Right.
least. Because when you pass away, you will be very surprised to know that the
Right.
person that you trusted the most turns out to be
Mhm.
the biggest, greediest, selfish, cantankerous person to other members of the family. You would not believe
You
what
really
people would
wouldn't.
do. I can tell you this with a passion because I happen to know it a little bit, but I'm not
Yeah.
alone. There's a lot of
Hmm.
people who know this. You see these things play out sometimes with within famous people careers. You look at families
Right.
like James Brown, just for example. You look at
Hmm.
things that are happening now with Prince and all type of people. You
Hmm.
think you're putting people that you trust, but see, you know they don't do the right thing when you're not here. You're not here
Exactly.
no more.
And you right, and you. It's not that you just not here. You're not here anymore. It's not like you in
Mm,
another state. You in another
right.
country. You're not here.
You're not
They
coming
don't
back.
feel like they can do right. They don't have to do right by you when you're not here no more. They can do what they want. Because how would you know?
How you gonna know?
How
How
you
you
gonna
gonna
know?
know? You don't.
Hmm,
You don't. You
you
just
really don't.
hoping. So
Right.
I would say yeah, we all know that, but I think there should be a new conversation beyond the
Hmm.
wills. Beyond the will, you need to have more copies of it out. Get it out
Yes.
to somebody in your house, somebody outside of the house, a cousin, a aunt.
Hmm.
Get it out to some people because
A
everybody
lawyer, a good one, maybe
a
two,
good one. You
maybe
understand?
two. We
All
got Keisha
right.
LaShawn here, says, don't assume that your loved one has your best interest at heart, especially you. Hmm, I was reading too fast. Especially if you have children with someone else. Speak on it. Speak on it. Speak. If I could drop my microphone, I would, but it would be really loud, and this mic stand is a little heavy. Drop
Listen.
mic.
And this is very important she brought up a very important point.
She did for a lot of
Men,
reasons.
men and women.
Hmm.
Men and women. But a lot of times, there are men who have outside children.
Hmm.
And you get married and you get a new setup. So you got
Hmm.
some kids over here, you got some kids over here. I ain't
Yeah.
saying Papa was a Rolling Stone everywhere he left his hat was his home. I ain't saying that, but you know this to be true.
Hmm.
So the family that he completes the circle of life when he transition might not be a family who look out for the first kids, your
Yeah.
other kids, not the way you would have. So you
Right.
gotta think about that. I think it's very important to think about. Not only should you be thinking about the person that you are married to and that you have kids with, you gotta look at, okay, well, how are they treating my kids if I have kids already? That's
Yes,
something very, very important.
it
You got
is.
to do
And
that.
you do. And even to kind of go back to our conversation earlier, being a young person, but approaching 30s, when it comes to dating, there are chances that you will end up dating someone who has children. Because let's just be honest, we're not getting any younger and people have children at all kinds of ages. But I think it's important as someone, if you are dating someone with children, to understand one, that this person still has their children. You need to make sure that you are respecting them as your partner's children. You're
Hmm.
making sure, like, it's not solely your responsibility, but if you're dating someone with children, you can do your part to make sure that they are treating their children appropriately,
Hmm.
that you are respecting those children, and if they just so happen to complete that circle of life with you, that is still your partner's child.
Right.
Before, you have no biological relation to your partner, I hope,
Hmm.
but that
Right.
child does,
Absolutely.
and they don't deserve to be mistreated or left out because you want to feel yourself some type of way because you got the person. Like, okay, cool, but that doesn't mean that child should have lost their parent because you wanted to feel yourself and be all high and mighty.
Right, 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 right. Listen, it's a crazy dynamic, but
It
it's
is.
something that a whole lot of people know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate. And the reason why it really is unfortunate is because, like you said, um, everybody, the young people that lost their parent. Okay,
Right.
so in that process of grieving, to have to deal with things like that, it is horrible. So,
Right.
Amari, I like your comment. I agree. People definitely should have wills. Probate can be a nightmare. But
Mm-hmm.
let's be real and let's know that everybody just doesn't do the right thing.
Ooh, Amari has a good question. Says, when does the person you're dating meet your churn?
Mm,
Well, I can't answer that one.
well, I
But
can't answer it. I can answer that.
right.
Not many times because there aren't many that you've met, but
I don't think I would have done well with that anyway.
and well,
You know your children are very protective over their mother.
they are. But if I had my way, my kids probably would have never met the one person that they did meet. To be honest. To be honest. However, it happened.
Ooh.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. But it's definitely not an early thing for me because I'm not even warmed up to people themselves very early. I don't think you
Right.
really get to know a person very early, but that's just my personal thing because people can fool you for a long time.
Yeah.
People
And,
can fool you for a long time. So I don't know. But if you have little children, and then also I was never in a situation where I had, you guys didn't meet anyone really young.
mm,
But I don't know. I feel like you just need to raise your kids. If there's a time in your life where you just gotta put some things on hold, just like how we said, like the fact that everything that's going on with the government trying to police women's body, I feel like it's gonna force women to just really take a pause with men. Like if you've got to take a pause for a certain time in your life, maybe you might need to take a pause.
yeah.
Or just don't bring them into it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring them into it. If you don't see this as a relationship that is family oriented, that
Mm-hmm.
you really want to have a family with this person, I don't even see the need of them meeting them. Like if it's
Yeah.
just someone that you're dating, like never. The answer
Right.
is
But
never.
the children will never know that you existed.
Right, never.
You will forever
Next.
be my little friend.
Right.
My little friend. But
Next.
I feel like especially if you have young children, because that's a lot to kind of introduce them to and to bring them to. If
Mhm.
it's like you said, if it's not someone that you see yourself building a family with,
Right.
because you don't need to just have people in and out of your child's life.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
and
don't think so.
and I also think you need to be in a space with your child's other parent where
Hmm.
you all can agree that, okay, we are dating other people. This person is going to meet our child. Because if you don't have a good understanding with your child's parent, that could make everything just with everybody. So,
Yeah.
and that's just me
Because
from the outside looking in.
but you're right. And that was
Yeah,
a very, very mature thing to say. You're absolutely right, because that parent is a part of that family still.
right.
You will not be able to X them out. They
Unless
are
they have
included.
gone on to the upper room, they are still a part of that family.
Right. So yeah, you've got to make those type of decisions.
Yeah. Now I feel like if your kids are grown, you can really do what you want. But
Well, you can, but that still don't mean they have to meet anybody.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can decide that what you want. They don't have to meet them,
Mhm.
unless you decide to get married to this
Or
new
you just
person.
want to, or if you just want to.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like if you're not looking to be a family, I'm just gonna say mind your business.
Right. It's not necessary. We will hang out with my child is with the other parent.
Come on. I don't know. Y'all got any other comments or got any other questions for us? We've been here for almost an hour. So it's time for some
Right.
questions, time for some comments.
Yeah.
We were talking, the subject was let's make a life and a living, but everything that we talked about really does include parts of making your living.
It
Isn't it?
does.
Your life is about more than your job.
It is. It really is.
What else are you doing? What is making your life full? What is making you feel whole? And what are some of those other things you feel like a single person does besides go to work? Because being single, and I'm talking about a single person, like no kids,
Yeah.
no one living with them, like
Hmm.
single, like real single, you know?
Well, since you asked, uh, I think a lot of it is going to be going to work because let's be honest, we gotta pay these bills. But I personally think it's also good to have like your friends, your community, your people that you can do stuff with, but also find things that you are okay and like doing alone. I know whether that be working out, going to a dance class, going to a nice little brunch, taking yourself to the movies. Like there are so many things that you can do. You just have to find things that you thoroughly enjoy and be like, okay, I can do this by myself. And then you never know. You might meet someone, you might meet some friends, you might expand your community. But I think just going home and going to work really kind of just puts you in this just repeat mundane cycle. And I think that's when a lot of young single people kind of get trapped in the, oh, well, I'm this age and I'm single and I'm unmarried. Like, what's going on? And it's like, no, you just need to find stuff that you like to do and be comfortable doing those things by yourself. And
Right.
not saying that you have to do everything alone, but I think even in a relationship, you should still have some sort of individuality. So find things that you like to do on your own because if you can do that single, when you're in a relationship and your partner is getting on your last nerve, girl, go ahead and take yourself to see a movie. Go to that Pilates class. Go take you a little dance class. Blow some steam off so you can have these things to do your alone time. So you're not also wrapping your life up around this one person. Because what if it don't work out? What you gonna
Well
do then?
said. I
So
agree. And I was going to say that I feel like even in a relationship, marriage, committed relationship, there's things that you're still going to have to be comfortable with doing with you. Have some of that me time. You need that. You need that for yourself. We do have a question in here
we
from
do. I was
Amari.
reading it. Amari says, do you think hip hop is making a woman's body count okay? I don't particularly like getting the detailed resume volunteered without asking. I think everyone should safely do business. But what happened to the mystery? TMI turns me off. Mm,
Hmm.
Well, I will say, I do think music in itself is allowing women to be and feel more liberated
Mhm.
and feel less ashamed of things that they have done. However, I do feel like there are some things that you should keep to yourself.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to air out all your business to everybody. And to Amari's point as well, I think being safe is the key word in
Right.
that statement. Making
Right.
sure that you are being safe because we talked about women's reproductive rights, but that's not the only thing that can come out of having sex with people. So there are a lot
Right.
of other things that you need to take into consideration and that you need to be aware of
Mhm.
if you decide to have one partner or 12. Because at the end of the day, just because you only have one partner does not mean your partner has only had one partner.
Right.
You don't have to
You're
tell
right.
all your business, but you at least need to make sure that you're being safe because you got to take care of your health. You got to take care, and now you have someone. If you're with a partner, you have somebody else's health to
Mhm.
think about as well. So
And
that's my take
safe,
on it.
you're right. You're right. And safe absolutely does mean safe, keeping
Hmm.
yourself protected from sexually transmitted diseases. What that sounds like, or what that is to you. A lot of people
Hmm.
don't, people say that, but I don't know a
Right.
whole lot of people who actually go get tested and make
Hmm.
sure that they are seeing the results, or they test it together, so that there is a trust factor. Like, who's
Right.
asking for paperwork, or who's making sure that they're getting tested. You have to do those type of things. You can't assume that, okay, well, this is a good person, they're safe,
Hmm.
or this seems like a good girl, this seems like he seems like a pretty respectable guy. I feel like
Right.
no, you can't do that. So
Hmm.
what being safe to you means, you need to be very clear on that,
Yes.
and you need to get tested. You need to know your results. You need to know where you're at, and you really need to know where your partner is. So
Yeah.
you've heard it before, but a
Hmm.
lot of my people out here, you're not doing it. So it all comes to a whole bunch of words.
Yeah.
Or are you being safe to yourself? you
Yeah.
know and there's a lot of things, and a lot of things, whatever brings up conversation, like we have these conversations, and there's a lot of things that you and I talk about that we dare not discuss here
Right.
online,
Yeah. Hmm.
but I feel like this conversation is a good base. Take
Right.
this
I
off.
agree.
Take this conversation. Let what we do here, and let, like, what a lot of these things that we see online, and a lot of the things that we are hearing on these podcasts, if they trigger you in some type of way, I feel like that's fine. But
Hmm.
take that conversation offline. It's not even about just you
Yes.
getting on there and making comments. Have that conversation with the people around you. Get some other feedback.
Talk
Flesh it
in real
out.
life. Just talk in
Talking,
real life.
talk in real life. I
Yeah.
like that.
Because, yeah. Ooh, we got Tori here. She says, my son, 18, and he has never ever met anyone, yes, that I have dated over the years. And he knows that his father and I are not on the same page at all. I do not see those people as my future. Did not, excuse me. Which
Hmm.
I feel like that
Hmm.
makes sense. If this is not
Yeah,
somebody that's going to be a permanent part of your life, leave my child out of this.
exactly.
And Tori also says, when I get into another relationship, I want us to get tested together.
That's
Also
the thing.
great.
That's the thing to do. I mean, there's just a lot of conversations that you like to have. People that
Hmm.
I'm sorry, that you should be having. And people
Right.
like to think that you know, you're assuming too much. Let me
Hmm.
just say that. I was going to say something different, but I feel like you're assuming too much. Yes, there might be condoms and stuff, but you need to have conversations around that.
Right.
I mean, what type of conversations are you having around those? Who's responsible for that? What are you doing before and after that? Like, what if you're a woman who is allergic to latex?
Right.
Okay, what are you doing? How are you making sure that men don't? There's things that men don't know about the woman's body, and a lot of times I think there's
Right.
things that women don't even know about their own bodies.
Right.
Because when it comes to those type of things, latex, I mean, these things are going to mess up your pH balance. It's going to throw you
Hmm.
off. It's going to give you different things, and the
Right.
next thing you know, you get some type of infection, and this can go back and this can go forth, and
Yeah.
that's not a good place to be. And you don't
Exactly.
even know what's going on with your body, because you don't even realize, like, hey, this latex is bothering me. Well, you need to wash this stuff off of you
Mhm.
immediately. But who's talking to you about doing that? Who told
Right.
you that? Do you know that? Were you aware of that? Are you paying attention to your body enough for that? So that's why I say you need to talk. You
Yeah.
need to be having conversations. We can't lose the art of conversation.
We really can.
Everything can't be online. Online has become a way for us to connect a lot better, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean throw everything out that we've known has worked for us in the past.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Exactly. Oh, Amari, you are coming through with the questions today. He says, is marriage absolutely the end game? Is a committed relationship without a ring such a sin?
Listen, not in my book, because I'm not
Mine
getting married
either.
again.
I ain't never
And
been married the first time, but
well, I'm just saying, I'm
right.
not getting married again.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely it's not the end game. Absolutely, I can be in a committed relationship without the ring. But I feel like a person who loves me is going to shower me with whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be a ring.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be whatever. A person would care enough, and I would care enough about them to shower them with some things.
Right.
But I know what you're saying. You're saying the ring in terms of you feel like you got to have that ring and get married.
Right.
No, that's not it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having a relationship with someone, and it doesn't have to be marriage. I'm just at an age where I don't even see the point of it. I have children already. I'm not having any more. I'm past that stage. I'm in my mid 50s. It's not happening. So
Yeah.
what am I getting married for? I don't understand that. I don't need that. But certainly I feel like companionship, absolutely. Do I feel like I could be in a long-term relationship with someone? Absolutely. I have the capacity for that. I'm open to that. I'm not searching for that. I'm open to that. There's a difference. But marriage, absolutely not.
And
Absolutely not.
I also feel like marriage isn't like an end game, if that makes sense. Like marriage isn't the end. For me, if I do get married, I feel like that is just the start of a new chapter of my life with this person, which
Mm-hmm.
that can be the same thing in a committed relationship, whether you get married or not. But I think a lot of people conceptualize marriage as, okay, I meet somebody, we fall in love, we get married, that's it. Like, no, like you do know that there is work that it's going to take to be married, to stay married, to
Mm-hmm.
go through all the life changes that you're going to go through. Like, that's not the end game. If anything, that is the start of something new. Shout out to High School
Right.
Musical for that quote.
Yeah.
So,
And and
yeah,
and right. And marriage couldn't really be the end game because number one, people do get divorced.
right.
People become widowed.
Hmm.
So the answer to that will always be no. But again, because I know the intentionality of the question, that doesn't necessarily fit, but that is a thing
Right.
too. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I
Yeah.
see I got Richard Cope in the house. How you doing, Richard? Talk about mid-30s, you mean? Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. But I did. I feel 30-ish, but I know I'm not.
I mean, if you want to go back to your mid 30s, I'll go back on that journey with you because life was so much simpler when I didn't have to pay bills.
Girl, let me tell you something. I don't want them because I love where I am at right now. I had no idea. Like, you could have
Hmm.
never told me that 50s were going to be this fabulous.
That's exciting to hear. And
Like,
it's
people
exciting to
say that,
witness.
and
Hmm.
I celebrated my 50 and 50 and fabulous. People say that, and they have the t-shirt, they get all of the
Hmm.
stuff, but
Right.
it is real.
Hmm.
It is so real because you've lived more than enough life. You have more than an understanding and appreciation.
Hmm.
There's just a certain freedom that comes with like knowing who you are, being
Yeah.
unapologetic, being unafraid to express yourself. I
Hmm.
love it. And it's not so much that I wasn't able to express myself before because that's just a large part of my personality. And
Hmm.
I thought I did. And well, I won't say I thought I did. I did. But let me tell you something. 50s, put some extra on that.
I can't wait.
Put some extra on it.
I
And
can't wait.
especially if you take care of yourself.
Right. That's the important part.
But you've got to take care of yourself
Hmm.
because I've seen some 50s that don't look that fabulous. They abuse their bodies and their heart
Hmm.
and their arteries, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. That's why I always say to you guys as young people, and I tell my kids this, I'm like, listen, with the young energy that you have, you need to make sure that your body is strong. Make sure that you are strong and that you are doing things, that you are lifting, that you are doing something that is using your muscle power and your strength, because
Hmm.
when you get older, and you're still going to have to do some of that when you're older, but
Right.
you hold it together a little bit longer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's why, I'm working on it. I'm trying to keep my joints together as best as I can because I feel like right now they age 20 years faster than the rest of my body.
Oh my
But we
goodness.
gon' we gonna be all right.
But see, it's different for athletes.
True.
See, you were an
Yeah.
athlete, so that's different. I don't know what the age is for athletes with you guys' bodies and joints and
Me
bones, because I
either.
mean, there was a, I don't want to say you abused your body, but you know what I'm saying.
You
Like
kind of
you,
did. You put
well,
your body
yeah,
through the ringer.
yeah, you put your body through the ringer. So, like, I don't know what that is like. You know, I lived,
A
you
tough
know,
life on the farm.
I've had an active life, but that's different from being an athlete.
Yeah.
So that's a different type of thing on the body.
Oh, we got Richard again. Says the end game is love and happiness and good health and living and dying black. If you could
Come
type
on.
that 3 more times, I'd tell you to, but you don't have to. That is
Mm-hmm.
it. Tori
Mm-hmm.
says, I'm getting close to 50, but not quite there just yet. I pray I'm able to see it. Well, I hope your
Yeah.
50 is just as fabulous as my mama's.
Listen, it
Just
can
as
be.
fabulous.
It can be. I know it will be. If that's what you want, you can
Right.
get it.
Because that's how I feel about my 30. I'm so excited. But we can talk about that the next last Sunday. Omari says, what if you and your partner are in sync, but one wants to live in a small town or a hometown, and the other needs the city bustle? That's when those long-term relationships without the ring come in handy.
Exactly. So you can live in your house.
And I can live in mine, and we can visit each other.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing about a plane ride or a little drive,
Come
a
see me
train.
sometime.
Right. Come whenever you're ready for the city, come on and visit. And when I'm tired of the city, I'm coming to you.
Come see me when you need to see me.
Right. We can
Because
get a
that's it.
schedule together.
Like the best relationship in my mind right now is somebody who really live in your own house. And I'm gonna live at my house now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And we gonna visit each other.
Right. You
We
live
gonna
in your
visit.
house, I live in mine.
So we'll get the
Yeah.
best of both. We'll get the best of both.
Right. Right. I love to see
Is
it.
it? I love it. It's been over an hour, girl.
It has.
It has.
Whew. And that hour went by just as fast as the last Sunday came up.
It did. And you know we love the people.
We do. That's why we be talking a movie. We did get another comment though about it from an
We
athlete.
bring it up. We bring it on up.
Josh says, as a former athlete in my 30s, my body reminds me every day that I was an athlete for many years. Mine too. It's reminding me right now. So I understand. I don't know what it is about being an athlete, but I'm telling you, our bodies have to age at least 10 years faster than our bodies age in dog years. That's what it is.
Maybe it does.
That's
I don't
what
know.
it is. Tori
Maybe it does.
says, great show as always. Thank you so much for joining us and commenting. We appreciate you all.
We do. Love the people. When we gonna do this thing again?
We gonna be wait a minute now, because the next last Sunday, I think falls around a holiday weekend.
The holidays.
But I be getting a little mixed up sometimes. Because I
Look at
don't
it.
know.
Look at
Yeah.
it good.
The
So
next
what?
last Sunday is the day before Memorial Day. So that's Memorial Day weekend.
So where you gonna be? Well, I ain't gonna tell you to tell your business out on here, but you got some.
Oh, I'm
Memorial
gonna
Day
be at home.
plans?
You know, the young folks like to go to bike week. As somebody who went to college at the beach, that's not for me. Not for me.
So,
It's not
so
for me.
what you saying? You ain't gonna have no bike week freaknik video
I'm gonna be
scares?
at home. Listen to me. That is probably one of my worst fears. And I could just tell this little piece of story. I was at work, y'all, and HR called me and they started with, so I saw a video. Y'all, I know I don't do nothing crazy, but the way my heart dropped, it wasn't about me. It wasn't. But when HR called you and say I saw a video, I said, oh Lord. Oh, they done got me. But it wasn't. So no, I will not be at Bike Week because I don't need HR to call me about myself. Like,
No.
Claire, we saw you on the back of a motorcycle. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
That thong, the thong,
can't.
thong, thong.
I can't. I cannot. Last thing I need. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna be at home.
All right. Well, we did it again.
We did.
We did. Speaking of the city,
Look at the city. Oh, what city is this?
Charlotte.
That's my city. That sure is. I know exactly where that is now.
Speaking of the city,
You gonna be in my city?
I ain't gonna tell people my business.
Okay.
I ain't gonna tell people my business. But because we love y'all, and we do love y'all, the last Sunday is when again? Give me the
The
date.
26th of May.
The
That's
26th of May.
26.
Since it's the 26th of May, I'm gonna say we may or we may not be here.
But we'll let y'all know.
We'll
For
let you
sure.
know in time. And
No.
even if that's just a few hours before we decide to come on.
Right, you know? But we're going to let y'all know regardless.
We're gonna let them know. Is there anything else you know what I meant to do?
We didn't play the outro?
No, that's not what
Oh.
I meant to do. I wanted to show them our video on let me we already over a little bit, so let me
Right.
share my screen. I wanted to show this video because it was so fun. Let me share my screen. Let me see. Let me share a screen.
This sounds like a Zoom call. When COVID
You-
really had
you-
everybody at home. I'm going to share. Can you all see my screen, okay?
Can you see my screen? I don't know. Can you see that? Let me see.
Well, no, we can't see it yet.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I know it's not up yet, but I'm gonna put it up here. All right. What are you doing in here?
Money to pay for my boots.
Can I see that hat again?
I got this from you.
Yeah, you did.
Gotta put this freaking cargo down. Hey y'all. Hey. It's the Brown South girls. We just leaving the Booty Brothers boot barn. Cause you know we brown and from the South. Yeah. We real country.
Country.
Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Hot dog.
All right. Hope you're feeling real country.
That's a
How you
funny
feeling?
girl there. Now, I will say I might not be at Bike Week, but I will be at some trail rides this summer. So, yeah.
You lying to me.
When y'all see my boots in videos, yeah, that was me.
That was you.
me. I'm going to be right there with the horses and the cowboys.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We still got people in here with us.
Yes, Tori says, I love that video. You know, I watch it too, and it just makes me laugh. Amari says, hot sauce in my wallet. You know what? I need to get me some hot sauce packets to take with me to these trail rides, so thank you for that.
That will only be right.
It would only be right. And Richard says, who's that Brown South hillbilly you with? Well, you know, we didn't become the Brown South girls without the South part.
The South.
So, yeah. But I'm
All
telling
right.
you, we got nothing on them folks from Kentucky when it comes to accents. I'm just saying. I'm
Tell
going to
them
learn
one
it
more
though.
time. Tell them.
We ain't got nothing on folks from Kentucky when it comes to Southern accents. But I'm going to practice. Y'all don't worry about it.
And with that, we're going to say bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.